Thank you, Thomas. And the next project, is a collaborative studio. Design strategy and learning experience around social and cultural innovation. Usually, making advisory for public and non-profit institutions, but thanks to Innocult project, they started involving communities directly. So, Madrix, Macedonia, by Daniel Llamas from Madrid. Daniel.
Thank you. So, I'm Daniel Llamas from Macedonia, not the country, but our studio, first solutions for real problems. And for the non-Spanish and non-Italian speakers here, Macedonia means fruit salad. And we call ourselves like that because we are like a bunch of different fruits coming from different backgrounds. And when a wide project appears, then we make like the perfect team to face that challenge. And it's like the best ingredients to provide the best flavor. So I'm about to tell a bit complex story, and like some stories, maybe it's better to start by the end. And this is our last definition of our studio. We are a collective studio who designs experiences and strategies about social, cultural, and educational innovation for organizations and their communities. Have you understood anything? Because people out there usually don't. So, know the story. We started in Innocult with a project called Madrix. Madrix was like our virtual cultural center related with arts and design. And it was like a universe of different interconnected rooms with different kind of architecture and content, and everyone around the world can join and speak with each other and interact with the elements and so on. And also it was open source since we use Mozilla Hubs to create it, and also it was aimed to be open 24/7, and we were celebrating like tens of events, exhibitions, concerts, workshops, networking sessions, and even a musical production course. And you may say, well, that sounds good, so what's the problem? Well, we didn't match with the business model at all, because we were like, should we make people rent the spaces like in a fair? Should we let them put announcements inside? Should we charge them for a specific event or a specific room? So we realized that all of them were wrong. Because we are not developers, we are not sellers, we are not like virtual landlords, of course. We are designers. So at first we realized that it was not about creating our own space, but about designing spaces for anyone else who may need it. But then the thing was that who actually needs this? Maybe no one. So then we changed our minds again, and it was not about designing spaces, but about designing strategies or experiences where maybe or maybe not a virtual space makes sense. And then in the meantime, thanks to Madrix, we met Europeana Foundation, and we started a new project related with virtual spaces. And it was called Build with Bits, since it was like our own Metaverso Eurovision contest, because we joined we gathered a lot of teachers and students from 4 countries, also Italy, and we made them create different learning virtual spaces. And we didn't create any space at all, but we were helping people to create their own spaces in a proper way, in the useful way. So this was like a 6-month program with learning fields, and open call, competition, and our ceremony, and the community. And we also talked about cultural patrimony, about open licenses, about user experience, about art direction, and also about virtual spaces, but just as a part of the bigger methodology. So here the point was that it made no sense at all to sell products like Madrix when we are good at providing services like Build with Bits. So this was like the main point here when we took the decision to be no longer with Madrix in Innocult, but to change to Macedonia, and that was like the mastermind behind it. And coming back to Macedonia, we had already worked with different kind of organizations like private foundations, like European before, cultural organizations like museums, public administrations like city halls or governments, and formative institutions like university or schools. So what was the problem then? Well, not companies. So why? Because they didn't understand a single word we were saying. And here, the thing here was that thanks to Innocult, we had the opportunity to talk to different companies, some Spanish companies, and we double checked that they didn't get a single word that we were telling them. But until examples. So our narrative was good enough for the other kind of entities, but was not for the companies, and we had to make up with a new one specific for them. And then this made us ask ourselves a lot of questions, like what do companies understand for our main keywords like cultural innovation or learning spaces? What kind of communities they have and they belong to? What are their main problems, concerns, frustrations, and what can we do to empathize with them? And in short, what can we do to help them in a proper way? So here we designed a strategy to get in contact with different organizations and have an excuse to talk to them with no barriers. And the decision was to create a report about all these questions and share how different organizations understand, well, the topics we usually work on. So we started in this winter, we were like having more than 10 one-hour conversations with different kind of companies, for example, startups, banks, consultancies, even a drink manufacturer, and also our classic ones like museums and universities. And we learned a lot. Because our deal was, give us 1 hour from your time, and in exchange, we will give you another hour from our time to help you in whatever you wish. So this way, we got 1 free hour of them telling us their problems, and then an extra hour to meet each other closer. And we got also a lot of answers. Well, maybe actually only 3, because all of the companies need to be either more productive, more innovative, or more sustainable. And people, aka the customer, have to know it. So the final question for us here is if they are open enough to work with outsiders like us in all of these topics. And we are not at this point, and we are going to start new conversations using this report to open the conversation. But you can see already, this is the structure of our report. We talk about all these topics: cultural innovation, communities, mediation, research, experimentation, transference, learning spaces, and technology. And in each of these topics, we talk about some tendencies and trends about what companies understand with these topics that are right now interesting for them, what are some bad practices that you should avoid, a brief case about how you can take advantage of all these new ways of working and thinking. And by the way, you can download it already from our website. And every story deserves an end, and we are coming to the end of not only of the presentation, but also of the process and of the Innocult mentorship. So I think that our journey with Innocult has been important because of 3 reasons. The first, we have strengthened the Macedonia brand, highlighting the value of what we are good at. This is services at designing experiences and strategies. Also, we have broadened the Macedonian potential clients, including now the social companies understanding their problematics and now having a new tool to use when selling our services. This is the report. And finally, we have enhanced the Macedonian narrative with a very simpler syntax, and not talking just to the ones like us, but to the ones who actually need us. So this way, maybe this definition can make a bit more sense, because indeed we are a collective studio who do design, we do design experiences and strategies. We care about social, cultural, and educational innovation, and we work for organizations, now also the companies, and their communities. So thank you very much for coming along to this adventure and listening to this presentation.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And it's so amazing, goes through such diverse and interesting projects. So the metaverse is a huge topic to explore. And now I'm